Malala Yousafzai was born and raised in the Swat Valley of Pakistan, where she grew up listening to her father's stories and speeches of protest. Just like her father, a man who fought to pursue a new form of education in his country, despite the unfortunate series of bad luck in his life, Malala refused to remain silent about her rights to an education. In October of 2012, Malala had to face the biggest obstacle in her life at only 15 years old: survival. She was shot in the head when the Taliban raided her school bus, and very few expected her to live, let alone evolve into a universal symbol of peace. Her heroic recovery took her on an extraordinary journey from her isolated valley in northern Pakistan to the halls of the United Nations in New York. As Malala continued her campaign for education, she won the Pakistan's National Youth Peace Prize for her courage and advocacy in 2011. And also became the youngest person to ever receive the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014. Accomplishing more in her 17 years on this planet than most people do in their whole lives, Malala Yousafzai is changing the world through her voice. Malala's autobiography, I Am Malala, is so compelling because it's a brave girl's tale in an unsafe country, and it reveals her fierce determination to make the world a better place. It is quite clear where Malala's independent spirit comes from. Her involvement in politics and activism in the face of the Taliban's presence comes from her father's advice and encouragement. As she writes, "My father used to say, 'I will protect your freedom, Malala. Carry on with your dreams.'" Malala has unconditional support for the things that she believes in, like the principles of liberty, democracy, and freedom. Her peaceful activism, which is what made her so well known across the globe, made her a huge target for radical extremists and terrorist groups. However, the Taliban assaulting her did contribute directly to her universal success, because without getting shot in the head, she would have not been able to meet as many people as she did. Ironically enough, the Taliban amplified her voice as an activist. Malala's story is similar to the well-known Anne Frank diary because of how young they both were when writing about such horrific events going on inside their world. They both were outlets speaking for those who were not being heard and letting the world know about how human rights were being violated. In America, the typical teenager will fake a disease in order to stay home from school, so it is riveting to see how much passion Malala has for girls' rights to an education. Seeing photos of her hands covered in designs of chemical formulas and calculus equations instead of the traditional henna just goes to show that Malala lived and breathed for her campaign. Where some people feel that Malala isn't doing much by voicing her opinion and fighting for her beliefs, others would say that she is doing the greatest thing for her country just by being a positive, peaceful representative of Pakistan. Malala was given her name after a famous Pashtun poet, Malala of Maiwan, who just so happens to be a warrior woman from southern Afghanistan. Obviously, her parents chose a name most fitting. Malala's autobiography, an eye-opening read, was a remarkable first-hand account of what it is like to live in a cruel world such as Pakistan.